This is the L2C Media Network, and this is Sports Final, live from the Tom O'Neill Studios in Jackson and the ever-lovable Fred McLeod Sports Desk. I always forget to say that. And it's all sponsored in part by the fine folks at the L2C Media Network. Now, with the details that make the headlines of the day in sports go round and round, here's our host, the Grand Vizier, whatever that, Steve, the Baxman Baxley. All right, how you doing, everybody? Oh, no. Hey, everybody, welcome to the broadcast. You're a little short. Thank you, guys. What kind of a day we're having today? Well, it's getting better and better and better and better. The day in sports, we got a lot of good things to do today, and talk about. Of course, when we talk sports, there we go. Let's plug this little puppy in if we can. There we go. All righty. I've already did the intro, so welcome everybody to this confusing broadcast, but it's a good broadcast to be confused with. We got basketball, football, hockey, you name it, we got it for you, and our sporty balls are full. So let's get to it, shall we? And, of course, our chat room is open if you want to talk sports, life, or anything else. So with that said, with that written, let us get to it. Excuse me for a moment. There we go. Oops. Oh, come on. Boy, oh boy. My hair is just not, it's not learning. Anyway, okay, let's get to it. Just went into halftime. Miami Heat and the LA Clippers. The Heat lead the Clippers at the half by 2, 58-56. Final scores. Philadelphia 76ers over the, correction. Damn. If we're ready, let's go to it. Raptors, Toronto Raptors beat the Philadelphia 76ers 115-106. Indiana Pacers over the Utah Jazz 111-100. And guess what? We're done with the NBA, but that doesn't mean we're done with basketball, no sir. Let's get you some NCAA basketball scores, if we can find them, which we can. Huzzah. All right. NCAA basketball scoreboard for the men. Today being the 11th, which is a Thursday, and we only got one game from the men. 21st ranked Maryland over George Washington, 71-64. So, not bad. Not bad, 8. Okay, so we go from the men to the ladies. Boop. And here we go with the scores from the ladies' game. If we happen to have those scores, thank you. We should, unless they didn't play. All right, here we go. Number 3 ranked Stanford, 91-36 winner over Morgan State. 7th ranked Baylor, an 81-54 winner over University of Texas Arlington. 9th ranked Iowa, 91-54 winner over Samford. 13th ranked Kentucky beat North Alabama 98-56. 17th ranked Georgia Tech beat Kennesaw State 72-45. 21st ranked South Florida over Alabama State, 72-37. 23rd ranked Texas A&M over Southern, 92-32. And the 24th ranked Virginia Tech took George Washington to the woodshed and spanked their little behind, 75-38. All right, we go back. Yes, let's take her back. Let's see. Yeah, let's take her back, guys. Thank you. Do we have was that the only game for the men tonight? No, we got others. Okay, why did you not tell me? Okay, well, they're just one game. Wow. Oh, more are coming up. Okay. Just keep that spinning wheel. Up and me down. Ducked obey the jogging of the spinning wheel round. Bup, bup, bup. Bup, 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 bup. Okay, so ESPN not going to give us scores. Let's go over here for some scores. Thank you very much. Very friendly of you. All right, let's go to college basketball. 5:11 left to play in the second. It's San Jose State over CS Fullerton, 75-70. Also in the second half, North Arizona leads Washington by 1, 33-32. In the half, it is St. Francis 42, Prairie View 32. 1:14 left to play in the opening period or opening half, and it is Portland over Willamette 52-44. Final scores: South Dakota over Air Force 59-53. Morgan State over the Nittany Lions 126-75. Vermont over Northern Iowa 71-57. USC Asheville over Brevard 101-44. 21st ranked Maryland over George Washington 71-64. Providence over Sacred Heart 92-64. Evansville over IUPUI 60-40. Merrimack over New Jersey Tech 61-54. Norfolk State over the Nittany Lions 111-55. Liberty over Regent 85-24. Charleston over South Carolina State 106-74. Mount St. Mary 117-62 over Washington College. Over who college? Washington College. All right. Stephen F. Austin over Mary Hardin Baylor 76-63. TCU over McNeese State 77-61. East Kentucky over Ohio Valley 103-74. Samford over Spring Hill 86-69. Creighton beat up Kennesaw State 51-44. UC Riverside over Arizona State by 1, 66-65. Pacific over Hawaii Hilo 85-74. And at midnight, or at least a minute to midnight, it'll be Hawaii and North Colorado. All right, let's take you now to the G League. G League. Thank you. All right, let's take you now to the schedule. And let's see, today's the 11th. We should have some big old games on that date. Let's see. Yeah, we do. Cleveland Charge over the Windy City Bulls, 105-88. Lakeland Magic over the Mexico City Capitans, 103-98. Wisconsin Herd over the Motor City Cruise, 121 to 116. Raptors 905 over Westchester Knicks, 119 to 95. Grand Rapids Gold over the Sioux Falls Skyforce, 103 to 99. And finally, Agua Caliente Clippers over the G League Ignite, 101 to 93. Now, tomorrow night's games are going to be very interesting. Tomorrow afternoon, 1 o'clock Eastern, Santa Cruz Warriors taking care of the Oklahoma City Blue. At 6 p.m., it's the Windy City Bulls and the Cleveland Charge. 7 p.m., Wisconsin Herd, the Motor City Cruise. At 7 p.m., the Capital City Go-Go over Long Island Nets, Delaware Blue Coats, Maine Celtics, Westchester Knicks, and Raptors 905. Birmingham Squadron and the Texas Legends wrap up the night of fun and excitement. Yes, sir. That is your G League report. And that also ends our basketball coverage for tonight. All right. Let's go from the NBA scores. Okay. Let's go from the hardwood to... No, wrong cue, boys. We go from the hardwood, not to the golf, to the hard synthetic ice. If we can get some buttons here going on strong, let's hit the one that has the NHL. Thank you. And by the way, as I said earlier, or if I didn't say it, I say it now, all of our scores are sponsored by the good folks over at Caesar Sportsbook. Remember, we are all Caesars, and let's get to it, shall we? After 2 periods, the Anaheim Mighty Ducks over Seattle Kraken 4-2. Also in the second intermission, Golden Knights of Vegas beating the Minnesota Wild 3-0. Les Canadiens de Montréal over the Calgary Flames 4-2. Suzuki with 1 goal, 1 assist for Montreal. Gallagher, 1 goal, 1 assist for Montreal. And Chariot, 1 goal, all 3 for Montreal. Final score, Oilers over the Bruins 5-3. Draisaitl, yes. Draisaitl. Edmonton, 2 goals, 1 assist. McDavid for Edmonton, 1 assist. Bergeron for Boston, 2 assists. In a shootout, it was Pittsburgh Penguins over the Florida Panthers 3-2. Jerry for Pittsburgh, 36 saves. Rodriguez for Pittsburgh, 1 goal. And Barkov for Florida, also a goal. Other final scores, Kings over Senators 2-0. Quick for LA, 37 saves. Gustafsson for Ottawa, 34 saves. And Kopitar for Los Angeles, 1 goal. Devils beat the Islanders 4-0. Blackwood for New Jersey, 42 saves. Tatar for New Jersey, 1 goal. And Kukkonen for New Jersey, 1 goal. Capitals blanked the Red Wings by a score of 2-0. Foucault for Washington, 21 saves. Orlov for Washington, 1 goal. And the Kaiser for Detroit also got a little mention. Final in overtime, Nashville Predators beat the St. Louis Blues 4-3. Kunin for Nashville, 1 goal, 1 assist. Duchesne for Nashville, 2 goals and an assist. And Kyrou for St. Louis, 2 goals. Winnipeg Jets beat the San Jose Sharks 4-1. Dubois for Winnipeg, 1 goal, 1 assist. Connor for Winnipeg, 1 goal. And Schmidt for Winnipeg, also 1 goal. Colorado Avalanche over the Vancouver Canucks 7-1. O'Connor for Colorado, 1 goal, 1 assist. Taus for Colorado, 1 goal, 1 assist. And Rantanen for Colorado, 1 goal and 2 assists. If you think that's it for hockey, are you kidding? No. Well, maybe. Let's check and see the action from We go from the majors to the minors. Any action in the American Hockey League that we got for you? And yeah, we got some action for you tonight. We can pop it in. And only one game, and it's a final. Utica Comets over Syracuse Crunch. 3-1. How about our good friends north of the border, the Ontario Hockey League? And there are no games scheduled for Thursday night. Is PT? No. Is PT? Yes. But let's now go to the NHL hockey action. Let's go to the scoreboard, the NC2A hockey. And only two games to report on. Michigan over Penn State, 5-1, and Michigan State winner over Ferris State, 2-0. That's your men's hockey scores right there. Do we have any women's hockey scores? Do we have women's hockey? Do we have women's hockey? I wonder if we do. I wonder if we do have. Let's find out, shall we? Yeah, let's. All right. Let's get to the college women hockey. Only two games. St. Benedict 4, Bethel of Minnesota 1, and Wisconsin Eau Claire 10, Northland 0. There you go. Happy landings on a chocolate star. It's 11:51, and tonight Nick Rakita will be streaming on Twitch. Just go to Twitch and look up Rakita Law. Of course, coverage of the Kyle Rittenhouse trial continues, I think, tomorrow or Monday. Either way, go to Rakita Law here on YouTube, and you can watch all the proceedings. And if you're so inclined, if you've been watching the proceedings, you'll know that Rakita Law has been outgunning the mainstream media to the point where they have reached about 75,000 views. Very good. Anyway, let's get to it. Ben Simmons, who has not played a game for the Philadelphia 76ers since reportedly requesting a trade in June, feels that the organization is worsening his mental health through fines, targeting, and negative publicity. According to Simmons' agent and Clutch Sports CEO Rich Paul, in a report from Shams Charania, for The Athletic, Paul insists that the 76ers are attempting to force Simmons to play despite him informing the team that he is not mentally prepared to return to the court. Simmons reported to training camp 2 weeks late and was thrown out of practice for refusal to participate on October 19th. 3 days later, he informed the organization that he was not mentally prepared to play. The organization resumed fining Simmons for his absences on November 5th, according to Chariana, due to a lack of clarity about his process and treatment for his mental health issues. Either you help Ben or come out and say he's lying, Paul told The Athletic. Which one is it, end quote. A 76ers spokesman told Charania that the organization is absolutely not trying to force Simmons into playing, and that they have been fully cooperative by providing resources for Simmons. The team's position is that Simmons should participate in activities such as practices, shoot-arounds, and video sessions till there is information from the team's mental health professional or from Simmons to state that he is unable to do so. He met with the 76ers mental health specialist on Monday, But the team says it is yet to receive any info from the specialist or from Simmons that would preclude him from playing or practicing. Now, Paul disagrees with that assessment. Quote, he's not there yet. How can a doctor who has only met with Ben once say Ben is mentally ready to play? So how do we keep digging on him or help him? Paul told The Athletic, now that we understand that reluctance for Ben, it all makes sense. There was a shying away from it. If Ben has repeatedly shown behavior that entails he isn't mentally ready to play, embrace him, support him. We have to remove our ego from it. We all have to take responsibility. Paul also said that in the past few months, the focus has shifted from Simmons' trade requests to simply offering support for his mental health. Quote, this is no longer about a trade. This is about finding a place where we can help Ben get back to his mental strength and get back on the floor. I want him on the floor playing the game that he loves, Paul told The Athletic. I want Ben on the floor, whether that's in the 76ers uniform or any other uniform. That's not up to me, but I want him in a state where he can resume play. We want to cooperate and want to work with him back on the floor. According to China's report, Simmons has agreed to allow his personal therapist to share information and collaborate with the 76ers mental health professionals as they pursue the best course of treatment. Trade him. There you go. That's okay. We got final score. Game just ended. The Dolphins once again shocked another big team, the Baltimore Ravens, by beating the Ravens 22-10. Oobla-dee, oobla-da. By the way, only one game in the NCAA football extravaganza to report on. UNC defeated 21-ranked Pitt by a score of 23. Check that. 21 ranked Pitt defeated UNC to 23. Wow. Incredible, isn't it? Yes. Truly incredible. Okay. We've done hockey. We've done basketball. We've done college. So what is next, you might ask? Well, simple. We go to the scores and fixtures of ye old football action. Let's go to Thursday Clipperoo. World Cup qualifying in the European area. Luxembourg over Azerbaijan 8-1. Portugal and Ireland, goose eggs. North Macedonia over Armenia 5-0. Germany over Liechtenstein 9-0. Romania and Iceland scoreless. Georgia 2, Sweden 1. Thank you. Where are we? Georgia 2, Sweden nothing. Spain 1, Greece nothing. Russia 6, Cyprus nothing. Croatia over Malta 7-1, and Slovenia and Slovakia tied at 2. In the international friendly soccer action, Serbia over Qatar 4-0. Czech Republic over Kuwait 7-0. Ukraine and Bulgaria tied at 1. In the Euro Under-21 qualifier, Croatia over Estonia 2-0, Israel over San Marino 4-0, England over Czech Republic 3-1, North Macedonia and the Ukraine tied at 1, and France over Armenia 7-0. In World Cup qualifying South America, Ecuador over Venezuela 1-0, Chile over Paraguay 1-0. In the African section of World Cup qualifying, Congo over Tanzania 3-0. Benin over Madagascar 2-0. Uganda and Kenya ended up in a 1-1 tie. Mali over Rwanda 3-1. Ethiopia and Ghana tied at 1. South Africa over Zimbabwe 1-0. Congo over Namibia 1-1, as did Togo and Senegal. And in Asia it was South Korea over the United Arab Emirates 1-0. Iran over Lebanon 2-1. Iraq and Syria tied at 1. Australia and Saudi Arabia goose eggs. Japan over Vietnam 1-0. And China and Oman tied at 1. And finally, Brazilian soccer. Fortaleza and Sao Paulo tied at 1. Juventud over Internacional 2-1. America Mineiro over Sport 3-2, and Flamengo over Bahia 3-0. Let's get you to a little piece of some media news, and the biggest news is that we are in the second round of bidding for the Premier League U.S. broadcast rights. Now, it doesn't appear that the Premier League's next U.S. rights holder will be revealed this week. Instead, per the rights bidding is going into a second round, and the winner or winners is expected to be announced by next week. We'll, of course, bring it to you here when the announcement is made. Furthermore, the Times reports that the Premier League will likely exceed its target of $1.5 billion in rights fees over a 6-year deal, and that CBS, NBC, and their old friends at ESPN are all contenders. Now, ESPN and NBC confirmed this week that they had made bids for rights to the top flight English league. And if you don't believe me, believe this. The Premier League has been on course for a 50% rise in the value of the rights to $1.5 billion. That's 1.1 billion British pounds for a 6-year deal, but then it may be surpassed. The first round of bidding ended on Monday, and the Premier League has now opened bidding for a second round with an announcement expected next week. NBC Sports, which is the the senior rights holders until next year. It paid $1 billion for 2016 to 2022 and is the favorite to secure at least some of the rights, but it's facing some tough competition from ESPN and CBS. The Premier League has split the rights into 4 packages instead of one, so that they may be shared between more than one broadcaster, as is the case domestically with Sky, BT Sport, and Amazon Prime. Now, back in September, Bloomberg reported that the Premier was looking for $300 million per season from the American broadcasters. Now, for context, NBC's first 3-year deal with the Premier League paid a total of $250 million for the 2013-2014 season through the 2015-2016 seasons. Its second deal, running from 2016 to 2017 through the current 2021-2022 season, cost a cool $1 billion for 6 seasons. That's $1 billion, not $1 bill. Now, while the possibility of a split package has been raised, the 3 most discussed bidders, CBS, ESPN, and NBC, would prefer that lovely word beginning with an E, exclusivity. Where are we here? Did we write? Yeah. Exclusivity. Even though splitting the package up might make sense when objectively looked at. Now, given the loss of the NHL and the shutdown of NBCSN in December 31st, incumbent NBC is the front runner. Now, losing their second major rights deal in less than a year would be a huge blow for the company and would also be a significant mark against Peacock, their streaming services, their Peacock streaming services continued growth. Now we'll see what happens next week. Whichever companies don't win the Premier League rights will surely be crushed by missing out. And when we know, we'll let you know. So next week, we'll find out. Should be very interesting big week next week, yes. Okay, and wow. Ever since the Business Insider piece from Julia Black that ran last Thursday with the headline of, "I was literally screaming in pain. Young women say they met Barstool founder Dave Portnoy for sex and it turned violent and humiliating. Barstool figures have been pushing back. The ways they've done it have been, well, different, though. Many Barstool personalities took to Twitter to talk about how they believe, hi there. They believe Dave and how honest he's been with them. Now, while Portnoy himself took a hard track, sending out initial videos accusing Black and Business Insider of a hit piece and ulterior motives, uh, your head is going to be on my spike in a Twitter video that tagged Business Insider CEO Henry Blodgett, and also saw Portnoy swinging a melon saying he was going to use it on Blodgett's head. Wow. It was a baby mallet, by the way. On Thursday, Portnoy delivered another video rant about Business Insider and Blodgett. Meanwhile, Barstool CEO Nardini addressed this on her Token CEO podcast on Thursday. And you can listen to those things. Also, and here's some of Nardini's particular comments via Reese Shipley at Barrett Sports Media. Quote, "The piece was extremely hard for me to read. It was hard for me because I don't think any woman should be forced to do anything against their will. Regardless of how that story was constructed or who it was about, that is something that I stand behind. The second thing that was really disturbing was how that piece came together. The fact that it dropped the same day as Penn's earnings, the fact that I had heard about the piece almost a year before from a hedge fund manager who was actively shorting the stock. It was hard to see something written like that about someone that I work so closely with and have so much respect for, who I have a deep friendship and partnership with, and who I care about immensely. Dave Portnoy is the most honest, forthright person I've ever met, and 100% to a fault. I trust Dave, and I believe him, and the facts are saying what Dave has been saying are true." Well, the different Barstool reactions here appear to be targeted at different audiences. The comment from Nardini are a common response that they can point to for investors, and dealing with investors does matter for them given recent stock slumps at corporate parent Penn National. That's not necessarily all about the issue, as Penn has posted slow online growth, missed out on getting a New York gaming license, and saw significant sell-offs from hedge funds earlier this year. But this does appear to be of some concern to some investors, and it's worth noting that while Nardini discusses this in more of a serious tone, the substance of her comments is still pretty similar to what Portnoy has been saying, claiming that the piece came with an agenda to tank Penn's stock, saying she believes Portnoy and not committing to any investigation or other actions. She's not talking about heads on spikes, but she's certainly standing behind Portnoy and ripping Business Insider. Meanwhile, Portnoy's comments appear primarily targeted at Barstool fans and at fans of him in particular. His fair up ranting approach has been fine for him in the past, and he seems to be sticking with it. What's maybe the most notable about all this that we've seen, we've dealt with it before as a reaction to coverage of Barstool, even to the degree of blaming executives and agendas. That's the company. That the company deny have any involvement in coverage. That happened with HBO's Real Sports piece on Barstool. It happened around Michael Rappaport's lawsuit, dismissed eventually. Happened around discussion of Barstool's offensive speech waiver, and happened with the Call Her Daddy contract negotiations. As our friends at Awful Announcing pointed out, Barstool seems to have a pretty boilerplate playbook in handling these scandals and controversies, which almost always seems part of their overall strategy to grow their business. So, in each case, Portnoy went on a rant. Nardini backed him, but in a less dramatic way, and the criticism over that issue eventually died down, but almost always after some type of counterattack by Barstool. Despite the severity of all this, it seems once again status quo. Quo. Ah. Okay, we're at 12:09 a.m. Eastern Time. And the way we're going, it's looking like we're going to be off the air early. If that's the case, then, well, so be it. Hi, Sherry. What's up? Hi, Sherry. How you doing? How's everything? Welcome to our little hacienda here. And nothing much. How are you? I am doing fine. Glad you're here. Glad to have you around. Excusez-moi, I have just belched. As you know, we don't have a filter here, so anything goes. So low budget. One day we'll have a budget if we scrimp and save. Anyway, let's get back to more headlines here. And thank you. That's okay with me. Fantastic. Okay, let's go from the 76ers story to this one, which is very interesting, very shocking, too. Gymnast Suni Lee collected, let's try that again. Gymnast Suni Lee collected 3 medals, including gold in the all-around event, as the first Hmong American to participate in the Olympics this summer in Tokyo. Weeks after her trailblazing performance, Lee was a target in a racial attack, she revealed this week. A group traveling by car shouted racial slurs such as, well, we won't go into those details, towards Lee and her friends, all of whom were of Asian descent, as they waited for an Uber ride. Lee said the group told him to go back where they came from, and one pepper sprayed the Olympian's arm before driving off. The 18-year-old Lee told Pop Sugar, quote, "I was so mad, but there was nothing I could do or control because they skirted off. I didn't do anything to them, and having the reputation, it's so hard because I didn't want to do anything that could get me into trouble. I just let it happen," end quote. Now, her experience isn't new among the U.S. Olympians of Asian descent. A man yelled racial slurs and obscenities at karate fighter Sakura Kokumai, who is of Japanese American, in a southern California park this April. Orange County police arrested the man, 25-year-old, not so good of a gentleman, Michael Viviona, for that incident. He was apprehended again later in the month for punching an elderly couple. Lee, who claimed silver in the team event and bronze in the uneven bars during the Tokyo Olympics, is now competing on ABC's Dancing with the Stars. She'll return to gymnastics at the college level as a freshman for Auburn in 2022. The Auburn Tigers went 1-7 a season ago, but Lee's addition has Auburn fans excited for a turnaround. Suni told Pop Sugar Auburn Arena has already sold out all its gymnastics tickets for 2022 season. Huzzah! Bonsoir, bonsoir, ba. Are we done? Not yet. Let's over there. And my gosh, we may just make it on time. You know that? All right. In college basketball, wow. The NCAA alleged Thursday in a statement signed by leaders that some of its volunteer committee members and staff received, quote, threatening and offensive messages, end quote, in the wake of a decision to uphold Oklahoma State's postseason ban. According to the NC2A memo, comments from Oklahoma State personnel identified NC2A personnel by name. NC2A President Mark Emmert, Board of Governors Chair John DeGoya, and Board of Directors Chair Jerry Moorhead said in a statement, "This is unacceptable." And it was signed by those three. Oklahoma State's appeal of a postseason ban was unsuccessful, the NC2A announced earlier this month. The decision means the Cowboys will be ineligible to participate in the NC2A tournament this season. The ruling was met with a swift rebuke by OSU officials, with athletic director Chad Weiberg saying in a statement that, quote, "We are profoundly disappointed for our student athletes, none of whom were here at the time of this case." End quote. Cowboys were picked to finish fifth in the Big 12 after returning most key players aside from Cade Cunningham from last season's 21-9 team. They were initially given a postseason ban for last season, but the lengthy appeals process deferred the enforcement of the ruling and allowed the team to compete in last season's NCAA tournament. Oklahoma State was one of 4 schools that had an assistant arrested by the FBI in late September 2007. That assistant, Lamont Evans, pled guilty in January 2019 and eventually spent 3 months in federal prison. Evans was found to have acted unethically and illegally after being captured on federal wiretaps and surreptitious videos. Those are big words for me. Anyway, let's go from that level of entertainment and information. Thank you, boys. Into one more little story, and then we just got 2 lovely scoreboards left. And let's see here. All right. In a report, PGA Tour's planning guaranteed big money events for stars. And once again, the Dolphins beat the Baltimore Ravens by the score of 22-10. Wow. Okay, we are down to one last little itsy bitsy teensy weensy yellow polka dot bikini of a segment. That is when we go international. Yes, yes, we must do that. We must go international, you know. I get so much of that mustache wax and get this stash, curled in preparation. All right, let's get to the scores from the 11th in the Euro League. It was CSKA Moscow 74-73 winner over Maccabi Tel Aviv. Grvezna Zvezda Mountains 73-67 winner over Lyon Villeurbanne. Anadolu Efes over Alba Berlin 90-63. Unix Kazan over Panathinaikos 74-72. Barcelona over Bascona 93-67. Little update, a minute left in the action. Clippers lead the Heat 86-78. 2 updates from the NHL, 11 minutes for third period on both games. Anaheim over Seattle 5-4. Vegas over Minnesota 3-1. In the Japanese Nippon Professional Baseball Playoffs, Oric Buffaloes over the Shiba Lottie Marines 2-0. Tajima gets a win, he's 9-8. Mima gets a loss, he's 6-8. And the Yakut Swallows defeated the Omuri Giants 5-0. Takahashi picks up the win, he's 5-1. And Sugano gets a loss, he's 7-8. All right, we rock and ride. Once again, repeating the final score of our Thursday night football game, Miami over Baltimore 22-10. Was that final little ditty. All right, we are awake. That's right, we are awake. Ooh, nice. Okay, we got any more opportunities in this part to talk to these lovely people? Oh. All right. Don't forget tomorrow or Saturday we have the NFL injury reports for the coming week. So there you go right there. And a 105-year-old Louisiana woman set a world record in the 100-meter dash for over 100 age group. Wow. Julia Hurricane Hawkins is showing everyone that age is just a number. Now, 105, Hurricane is taking the track and field world by storm. On Saturday, she became the first female track and field athlete and first American to set a world record in the 100-meter dash for her age group of over 105. She ran it in 102.95. Now, after her historic run at the 2021 Louisiana Senior Games competition, she spoke to the folks at USA Today about the importance of staying active and her perspective on being an inspiration to others. And here's what she had to say to USA Today. The older you get, the more passions you ought to have. Keeping active is one of my most important passions. I've kept thinking, why am I left here? Why haven't I been called by now? People say they want to be just like me when they grow up, and I think if I can please people and give them hope, then it's worth living longer. Hawkins added that a highlight of her life has been racing. Hawkins began competing in sprints 5 years ago at the ripe old age of 100, according to the National Senior Games. In 2017, she set a world record for the 100-meter dash for the 100 to 104 age group with a time of just 35 seconds. Wow. The eyes are getting weaker and weaker. But we go forth and we make it fun again for all of us to behold. Yes. Let's see. Casey Kane in auto racing. Casey Kane is set to run the rest of the World of Outlaws season. And we got to tell you, we got to give Kyle Larson the comeback of the year. He did good. Don't forget, folks, we are in November, and that can only mean one thing. Night lights are coming to Michigan International Speedway. Cost probably be about $25 like last year. But got some little surprises, plus some of the regular meetings up. So get ready, get set, and get cha-cha dancing for the upcoming season of auto racing. Skull. Okay, and I think we are almost done. I don't believe this. You know what we should do? Can we do this? Okay, let's do this. Let's get you a complete look at what's coming up in the let's see. Let's give you a taste of Friday in college football. Cincinnati at South Florida on ESPN2 at 6. Then at 9, it's Wyoming and Boise State on Fox Sports 1. Now, here's the action for Saturday on ABC. It's Michigan at Penn State at noon, Purdue at Ohio State at 3:30, Notre Dame at Virginia at 7:30. For CBS, only one lone game in their SEC contract, Georgia at Tennessee. NBC will be blank on Saturday. Meanwhile, Fox, Oklahoma at Baylor, Maryland at Michigan State, and TCU at Oklahoma State. ESPN, Mississippi State at Auburn at noon, Miami of Florida at 3:30, Miami of Florida State at 3:30, Texas A&M at Ole Miss at 7, and Washington State at Oregon. That'll be at 10:30. ESPN2 has Northwestern Wisconsin at noon. Iowa State at Texas Tech at 3:30. Kentucky at Vanderbilt at 7:30. And that's about that for that. ESPNU will take on UCF at SMU at noon. 4 o'clock, it's Tulsa at Tulane. And at 7, it's Kentucky. No, excuse me. At 7:30, it's Kansas at Texas. Meanwhile, on FS1, West Virginia, Kansas State at noon. At 7, it's Arizona, Washington. And at 11, it's Utah State at San Jose State. Regional sports networks going to have themselves a double dip. First, Syracuse and Louisville at noon, and then Boston College, Georgia Tech at 3:30. The SEC network will feature New Mexico State and Alabama and South Carolina and Missouri, and the nightcap will have Arkansas at LSU. BTN, the Big Ten network, Rutgers in Indiana, Minnesota at Iowa is the nightcap. ACC network, Connecticut at Clemson, Duke at Virginia Tech, North Carolina State at Wake Forest. Pac-12 network, Utah at Arizona, Stanford at Oregon State, and Colorado at USC. There you go. Or UCLA, excuse me. Pac-12 network, Utah and Arizona, Stanford and Oregon State, Colorado at UCLA. Oh, boy. You got what sounded like death. That's right. Anyway, let's see. Oh, pardon me. Let's pop that up there, guys. Pop it up there. Thank you. Pop it up. Pop it up. Thanks. Let's see. ACC network, Connecticut, Clemson, Duke and Virginia Tech, North Carolina State at Wake Forest. Pac-12 network will have Utah at Arizona, Stanford at Oregon State, and Colorado at UCLA. And finally, CBS-SN, Bucknell and Army at noon, UAB and Marshall at 3:30, Air Force at Colorado State at 7, and immediately following that, you got Nevada at San Diego State. Ooh, ain't those going to be fun? Okay, we'll get you full details on the Week 10 injury reports on Saturday. Of course, tomorrow we got more big sports action for you, and we hope you'll tune in for all the scores and everything else on this Sports Final. Until next week, not next week, until tomorrow. I wish this was Friday, but it will be. By God, by Gottfried. And I gotta take out some trash before I go to La La Land. Anyway, we are out of time, and we've done it almost. But tomorrow we've got a full slate of action for you, and we hope you'll tune in at 11:30 tomorrow night. Until then, I am Steve the Baxman Baxley, saying a big old thank you for tuning in, and I hope the heck you join us tomorrow for another little night of sporty balls and that lovely little thing that we make sure comes. That's right, a little sporty hoo-ha. That's right. So thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll see you all tomorrow night, same time, same place. Until then, thank you and have a very good night. This has been a presentation of Mystifying Creativity Productions in association with the L2C Media Network and L2C Sports, and of course here on YouTube. Don't forget, subscribe, hit that bell, and we'll let you know when we're on and everything else therein. And in about 2 weeks, we're going to try our hand at Twitch. We got a channel there that we've created and crafted. So if this channel should go down here, don't worry. We got one on Twitch. So thank you, everybody. Good night. God bless. And we hope to see you tomorrow. Have a good one.